Guys, it's Lindsay. We are going to do a Divine Partners reading, and I feel like today is a reading day. I haven't been feeling like reading for a couple of days with the moon that's been happening, but today is a reading day, so I'm going to try and get out a couple of readings for you guys. This is Divine Partners, a Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine. As always, if any of these messages don't resonate, please take only what you need and leave the rest. Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine are not just attributed to gender. They are essentially genderless, even though, you know, it is masculine and feminine. It is more of the energy that you are holding at any given time in your partnership or in your possible partnership. So please take the messages again that resonate for you. I am going to do a blessing of the cards. If I can get my... There we go. Okay. I wasn't as ready as I thought I was. And apparently my lighter doesn't want to light. Do I have another one? Yes, I do. I have a Jaguar lighter. So we're going for the fierce messages today. Spirit, I ask that any and all messages that come through the cards come through with clarity and understanding for all those involved and for their highest good at this point in time only. I ask that I speak clearly and that I am understood. I ask that I speak clearly and I am understood. Because why? Because lately I've been having trouble speaking, and I think that just might be the energy, you know. So we're hoping for clarity here today. Sorry about the background noise. I don't know what that was, but we're just gonna let it do its thing. Okay, so we're gonna tap in and see who shows up first. Let's see. I'm hearing Divine Masculine, so we're gonna start with the Divine Masculine. It's interesting, I just had my crow, so in a couple of other my videos I've mentioned I have a crow. His name is Atticus. And just before I did the reading, Atticus was directly on top of my door, and I can see him through the windows. He flew up and he sat there, and so I went out and I said hi to him. So, you know, as one does when one has a crow. Divine Masculine, let's check in with your energy. There's definitely this ferocity to the Divine Masculine energy. Now, in the last reading, if you have not seen it, I was talking about Mother Mary and the importance of Mother Mary, especially from the point of view of the Divine Masculine and that mothering, healing energy. There's this very intense energy coming through the Divine Masculine energy right now. And I get this because we have the King of Swords. So if you notice, he's seated on his throne, but he has this like blue flame behind him, and there is this intense kind of look upon his features where he's very much thinking deeply and hard about something. It's also giving, like, I hear strident, so very firm kind of energy, unyielding, which is also true for the King of Swords. He's often unyielding. When he has that cut off energy, he cuts off, right? So that is essentially what is coming through for this energy. So let's get a little clarity around it, because you also have the Knight of Pentacles, which is this really beautiful woman standing in this doorway with the pentacles surrounding her. Pentacles has to do with home, abundance, physical wealth, health, things like that. Okay, masculine. I'm getting a level of aggression. Honestly, that's what I'm getting. Aggressiveness in your stance towards life, in the way you're approaching life right now. Um, it's almost like wanting life to be a certain way and forcing it to be the way that you want it, right? It's exerting this element of control upon your life and your circumstances, um, in a very intense manner. Okay, and that can look like, in many ways, cutting people off unexpectedly. It can look like agitation, anger. But under it all, what is showing up masculine is this level of almost disappointment. And what it is, it's wanting things to be a certain way in a certain box. And if they don't fit that box for whatever reason, because we have control over our tiny little worlds, right? So this is your candle. We can only exert so much control over our tiny little world, right? There are outside influences, and like the air, right? So the candle gets blown out. You have to light it again, everything like that. So it's almost like exerting more control because there is a level of feeling out of control, and second to that, there is this level of disappointment where things haven't turned out the way that you wanted them to. And specifically, this is what we're talking about in the divine partnership. Something has changed, some decision has been made. Either you have made the decision or your partner has made the decision where you are feeling disappointed and out of control. So this kind of intensity of energy is really what I want to focus on, and how you move beyond that, because forcing something to be what it's not does not allow space for you to open to what is, okay? So to open to the possibilities of what can show up for you. And you're so focused on what you want it to be, what you want it to look like, because you think by achieving that, you will feel good. And that's not it at all. It's very much allowing, giving it some laxity, giving it some breathing room, giving it some oxygen to be what it is. I don't think this firm hold on things is really going to work out for you, honestly, Divine Masculine, because you're just not only putting your world into a corner, you're putting yourself into a corner, and it's very difficult to come out of that, right? So once you're there, once you have a certain perspective of yourself and how you show up and how your life should be, and it's this exacting perspective, there's no room for change or evolution. And if there's no room for change or evolution, your growth will stagnate. Who you are will stagnate. Your life will stagnate. And that's just basic, science, right? So evolution keeps us surviving as we evolve, as we change. We grow and adapt. And that's the most important thing, Divine Masculine, is coming through, is this adaptability is really what you need to be focusing on, not the act of control. Can you adapt? Okay, and be like, where am I not adapting? Ask yourself this question. Where am I not adapting, and why am I not adapting? And how can I do that, right? So we have the Wheel of Fortune. The wheel rotates and the cycle closes out. And specifically, the way that this shows up around divine partnership, the wheel rotates and the cycle closes out. It's interesting, okay? I'm hearing growing out of each other to grow into each other. And the way this means romantically is, if you've had a relationship, if you had an established relationship, and you are currently in partnership, but things have shifted where you're no longer evolving together, growing out of each other and taking a time of separation, if you haven't, excuse me, if you haven't already done that, is going to be beneficial to you. Because it's almost like both of you need to evolve in a singular space to come back to each other. And it does give this like heady type of romance, right? So when, for many people who are in long-term relationships, it sometimes takes stepping back and gaining perspective on your relationship through separation to realize, you know, what needs to be worked on and things like that. And that's what is coming in. It's gaining that perspective not only on yourself, Divine Masculine, but your relationship. Because I do feel this tangible level of passion, this tangible level of passion for your partner. But it's been diverted recently, okay? Let's check in. So we're delving in a little bit to the connection, but I want to check in with the feminine and see what is going on. See, I can't speak feminine energies if we, sorry, you may not be able to hear that, but there were bells. So feminine energy, any names, any clarity, any messages specifically for the Divine Feminine watching spirit, any messages specifically for the Divine Feminine watching. I'm hearing, where are you? Divine Feminine, have you been traveling? And if you haven't been traveling in your physical body, you are traveling in your mind. Okay? So it says this, where are you? Where did you go? And that may be part of, like, in response to the masculine showing up like this. Divine Feminine, where did you go? Where are you? Because you have the Six of Cups, which is, if you see this, it's a woman giving flowers to a little girl. And the cups are all lined up. And then you have the Four of Swords, which is a knight who has been killed, basically. And the Four Swords, and one of the swords is laying. And we can assume that this is his sword, right? So, where are you? Where did you go, Divine Feminine? I think you went here. I think you went to your inner child. I think you went to the place, the space, the pattern that brings you comfort. And for some of you, I'm hearing disassociating. Okay. But for others of you, you are escape artists. And I'm hearing that you like to travel when things get difficult. You like to move. You'll just take off. And that's part of this inner child energy. Where did you go? Where did you go? You did and reacted in the way that is familiar to you to protect that little girl, Divine Feminine, from this. Because does that look like a safe person for your little girl to be around? Probably not. Look at the flames. You see that? Look at the flames. And this also, this energy, I'm going to say as well, is definitely giving fire signs. So if you are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, if the masculine Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And it's interesting, the female is giving, the feminine is giving water. So this is the protecting around the emotions, which is really interesting. But what is this? We're going to figure out what the Four of Swords is, because... Hang on. There's a name coming through, and I'm... Give me clarity around the name, Spirit, whatever the name is. The message. Give me clarity around the message for the Divine Partnership. What does the Four of Swords mean? Lay down your armor. That's what I'm getting. Divine Feminine, lay down your armor. Because then you have the Knight of Swords coming in. It's a changed energy. It's a different energy. It's a movement energy. So you've pulled back. And there is this intense movement energy coming in. What is that name? You know, I'm going to think of it later, and if I think of it after this reading, I'll put it in the description, because there's a name that's coming, and it would be specific to somebody. I just keep hearing escape artist. Where did you go? Escape artist. Where did you go, Divine Feminine? Okay, so we're in this kind of like escaping energy, which you had to do what you had to do. But now it's time to transmute it, because you have the Magician energy, and the Magician energy is upside down. So that's your side. What? I said the Magician, but it's the Hanged Man. But it came to me as the Magician because the energy was transmuted. So you're now transmuting the energy. Expect to be transmuting the energy, expecting to be changing and altering the patterns with your intentions, Divine Partners. You are altering the patterns. It's how you intend to proceed. Divine Masculine, how do you show up? Do you show up with adaptability? Divine Feminine, do you stop running? Because if you do, as I said, there's this chance for balance between you. This is the Eight of Wands. This is movement in a good direction. But it requires from both of you to, you know, not exist out of the wounds. It's really a fascinating read. And let me see if I can get this name. I really want to see if I can get it for you, because it's like right on the tip of my tongue. I can, when I get messages, and I've talked to many, I don't like the word psychic, clairvoyance, clairsentience. When I get messages, they come through the left side. So it's almost like somebody whispering out of earshot and coming in. So let's see, Spirit, what are the names? Any names, any numbers, anything specific to those who are watching this reading, so they can get confirmation this reading is for them. I've been getting a lot of A names recently, which is really interesting to me. But there's a G name. I'm hearing Gendry. I don't even know if that's a name. Gendry. I'm hearing mirror. There is I'm seeing a lake with moss. Like, you know, you go sometimes by the edge of a lake or a pond, more of a pond, and the moss just kind of like goes down into the pond area if it's not been disturbed. That's what I'm seeing. So like a pond, sitting by a pond. Any other specific messages? I just keep hearing mirror, something with a mirror, and almost like writing on a mirror, somebody writing on a mirror, or putting a kiss on a mirror, like, you know, writing a message in lipstick or writing a message on a mirror, um, marking on a mirror. And I heard the name Gendry, and there's something with a pond and moss. I don't even know if Gendry's a name. It may be a last name. I don't know. But that's what I was getting. So that is my divine partnership reading, guys. If any of this reading resonated for you, please drop a comment. Please drop a like, subscribe, share. I do offer personal readings. I do have some personal readings left if you check out the links. Otherwise, I wish you all well.